Alright, in this video we're going to talk about measures of central tendency. So we are looking for the number that describes the data set. We might call this typical or average. There's four numbers we're going to discuss, and that is mean, median, mode, and mid-range. And if you need to round in any of these cases, MyMathLab will tell you that. So the mean is the sum of all the data items divided by the number of items. The standard idea of what we mean by the mean is the average, where you just take all the things, add them up, divide by the number of things. So X bar is mean, X is the data item. The summation symbol means that we are going to sum or add up all of those data items, and so that's what sum of X means. And then N is the total, is the number of data items. So in this course, we're only talking about sample mean, but there is something called the population mean, and they use a Greek letter mu. All right, so let's start off with something basic. Let's find the mean of the following data set. Okay, so the formula is X bar equals the sum of X over N. All right, so let's do this. I think I'm going to first find just the sum of X. I'm just going to add up all of these things. Now, in practice, I don't think I would write out this step because I'm just taking the numbers that are right there and I'm adding them up. So in practice, I think I would just do the calculation. I would just do the sum because if I copy it down, there's a good chance I could make a mistake. Okay, so I'm going to do the calculation twice. I would recommend do the calculation twice as well to make sure you get this number correct. I would say that the mistakes that are going to happen when you calculate the sum of X and if you mistype something in the calculator. Okay, so 327 is what I got. Let's do it again. 23, 42, 70, 13, 8, 19, 20, 54, 47. Oh, I got different number. Well, is it 296 or is it 327? Let me do it one more time. I'll pay attention this time. 42 plus 70, 13, 8, 19, 20, 24, 47, 31. All right, so it looks like it's 327. And then the number of items in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So in our formula, X bar is 327 divided by 10, and that is equal to 32.7. Okay. In this case, it was exactly 32.7, so it would likely tell you not to round, and that would be our answer. All right, so that is the mean. Let's move on. We'll cover up some of this. Now we'll talk about the median. Median is the data set in the middle of the data item in the middle of the data set. When you order it, highest to lowest or lowest to highest. So to find the median, we are going to first order them, smallest to largest. If the number of data items is odd, so if n is an odd number, it's directly in the middle. If n is an even number, then what we have to do is take the average or the mean of the two middle numbers. Okay. there's an expression that tells us the position of the median, and that is n plus 1 over 2. It doesn't tell us what the median is, it just tells us where to find it. That's not so much necessary in these small data sets. It's when we get to the frequency tables we'll need that. All right, so let's go ahead and order these from smallest to largest. Usually what I do is I circle or use my highlighter. So I got my 2 8s. I think my next one is 10. Then I got 16. Looks like 31, 33, and then 43. So I'm going to rewrite them. Usually I circle or highlight as I catch them. Now, in order to find the mean, it's the one in the direct middle. So we can do this. You can cross out the ones on the end, and then cross out the ones next to that. And then if you cross out these in pairs, then the one in the direct middle is the median. So 16 is the median. Okay, that's the easiest way to do it. I could have also done the position is n plus 1 over 2. In this case, n plus 1, n is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So n is 7. So the position is 7 plus 1 over 2, which is 8 over 2, or the fourth position. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's the fourth position when you line them up. Now, let's look at a data set that is even. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So here we have a data set that's even. Let's order these. So I think my smallest number is 8. All right, do I have any? Okay, we got 19. Oh, we got 13, so maybe I will just do that. 13, 19. Let's see, we got a 20. That has to be next. Any more 20s? 23. We got 31. No more 30s. We got a 42 and a 47. And then we got 54 and 70. All right, so these are now in order. If we play that game where we cross out pairs, what you're going to see, oops, we'll do it this way. We end up with the 2 in the middle. Okay, so the median is going to be the average of those. So the median is 23 plus 31 over 2. Let's see what we get. Oh, 23 plus 31. No. Yeah. Which is 54 divided by 2. Let's see what happens. 54 divided by 2 is 27. So the median is 27. Let's use the position. I just want to show you that it's different. The position is n plus 1 over 2. You could easily get confused here. So if you understand this, you don't have to do this. I'm only showing you for when we get to the frequency tables. So the position, n plus 1 over 2. I want to show you what we do here. It's going to be 10 plus 1 over 2. Well, 10 plus 1 is 11. Oops, 11 over 2 is 5.5. Well, there's no there is no 5.5 position. So you average or find the mean of the 5th and 6th position. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is the 5th. This is the 6th. The median is the average of the 5th and the 6th position, which we found. Okay. All right. The next one is the mode. By the way, the rest of these, the mode and the mid-range, are pretty easy compared to what we just did. So the mode is the data value that occurs the most often in a data set. If one data value occurs the highest, then that's the mode. If more than one has the same frequency the most, both of them are the mode. And then if there are no numbers that occur the most frequent, then there is no mode. So let's look at these two examples. In the first one, the number that occurs the most is 8. It occurs twice. Everything else occurs once. So in this case, the mode is 8. Move to example 2. Basically, I just modified this one slightly. Every item occurs one time. So in the second example, there is no mode. Okay? So that's the basic understanding of mean, median, mode. Oh, and then we got mid-range. Do that one next. The mid-range is a simple little equation. You take the lowest data value when you put these in order smallest to largest. Lowest data value plus highest data value divided by 2. So you're finding the average of the smallest number and the biggest number. So this is the lowest data value. Actually, both of them are, so you only need one. Looks like 43 is the highest data value. So we're going to find the average of those two numbers. Again, if you need to round, MyMathLab will tell you how to round. Okay, so 8 plus 43 divided by 2. Oh, let's do it this way. We better be careful. 8 plus 43, 51. Divided by 2 is 25.5. The reason I backed up and I didn't do it all at once, let's see what happens. 8 plus 43 divided by 2, you get a different number. And that's because the calculator is doing 43 over 2 first and then adding 8. So if you want to type it all in at once, do parentheses divided by 2 and you get 25.5. Okay? So our mid-range is 25.5. So that's the meat and the potatoes of that section. But then we get into finding the mean, median, mode, mid-range with the frequency distribution table. This is where it gets a little more involved. Okay. So it's still, the definitions are still the same for mean, median, mode, mid-range. But now that we've introduced this table, it might be a little trickier. So let's see what we got. So now we're going to discuss some formulas and methods in the textbook to find each of these measures of central tendency with the frequency distribution table. And you can use this process if they give you a histogram or a stem and leaf plot or frequency polygon. So if what we're about to do is confusing, you can always write out the entire data set and approach it the way we did earlier. Okay? But with so many data items, we're going to figure out how many data items we've got. You could make a mistake in that calculation. So, if I take this frequency distribution table, grouped frequency distribution table, then, well, it's not grouped, it's just frequency. Then, here's what I got. If I write out all of the items. So 1 occurs twice, 1, 1. 2 occurs 3 times, 2, 2, 2. 3 occurs 3 times, 3, 3, 3. 4 occurs 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5 occurs 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on and so on. So, when we talk about the mean, we'll need to know n. And when we talk about the median, we need to know n. So let's count these up. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There's 3 rows. That's 39. 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46. So we know by just counting them all out that n is equal to 46. But what if I didn't want to write it out? Because I will be using my table. So how could I find n without writing out all the data items? So the secret is to add up the frequencies. So you add up all the frequencies to get n. So we know n is 46. Let's see. 2 plus 3 plus 3 plus 6 plus 4 plus 8 plus 9 plus 6 plus 3 plus 2, 46. I would, if you don't write out the data set, which most people aren't, I would do that calculation twice to make sure I got 46. Okay? So I'm going to be using the table. If you don't like the table, write out the set. You can do it using the process we did earlier. All right. So I'm going to move to the next page. Probably will need my table. But here's a formula to find the mean of the frequency distribution table. All right. So basically, it's the same thing, but what I'm doing is I'm adding up, this is the summation, and it's adding up the x times f's, where x is the data item and f is the frequency. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this times this, plus this times this, plus this times this, plus this times this, etc. And then divide that by n, which is 46. That's all there is to it, but that's the formula the book introduces. So that's the formula I'll give you. Everything else is the same. So here it wants to find the mean. It says to round 3 decimal places. So I'm going to write out that formula. And then I'm going to bring my table back. Okay. Here's my table. I'm going to do a little bit of modification on my paper. So, again, I want to use the table itself. All right. So, what I have to do, the sigma xf, is this process. And again, I don't know if I would write it out, but to show you, I'm certainly going to write it out. So 1 times 2, 2 times 3, 3 times 3, 4 times 6. And notice I'm putting the score first, so it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. 5 times 4, 6 times 8, 7 times 9, 8 times 6, and 9 times 3, and 10 times 2. Okay. I don't think I would use the calculator yet, because if I try to type in 1 times 2 plus 2 times 3, all of these parentheses and all of that stuff, I'm probably going to make mistakes. So these numbers are small enough. 1 times 2 is 2, 2 times 3 is 6, 3 times 3 is 9. So I think I would do this part first. And if you need a calculator because you don't trust yourself, okay, 6 times 8, I don't trust myself, you can type that in. Or 7 times 9, if you don't trust yourself, you can type those in. But I don't think I would type the final, I wouldn't type all of that in. Okay, now let's double check. 2, 6, 9, 24, 20, 48, 63, 48, 27, 20. All right, now I'm going to use the calculator to add these up, and I'm probably going to add those numbers twice. Because we're adding, I think, 10 numbers together, there's a good chance I'll type something in wrong as I'm talking. And so I got 267, which I think is correct. But let me do it one more time. Yeah, I got 267 again. Now, we're going to divide it by n. We said earlier n was 46. So, the mean is going to be 267 divided by 46. Let's see what happens. It says to round 3 decimal places. 267 divided by 46. Yeah, so 5.804347826, and it probably keeps going, but my calculator only goes so far. 804347826. It says to round 3 decimal places, so we stop after 3. We look at the number after that, which is 3. Since that's under 5, when I round, the number does not change, 804. Okay? So we've got to be able to round properly. If you do all that work and you round incorrectly, they will count you wrong, as frustrating as that is. All right. So the next thing we're going to look at is the median, and I promise this is the hardest. Mean and median are probably the hardest one. Then it gets a little quicker. In this case, we probably don't really want to write out the entire data set. Again, if you want to write out the data set, you could have. Okay, if you did that, you could play that game where you cross out pairs. Okay. But if you missed a number, or you wrote something, or you go too fast, you might miss something. But if you want to check your work doing it that way, you certainly could. So I'm going to do the n plus 1 position. I'm going to use that method for this because there's so many. All right, well, we know that n is 46. So the median is in the 46 plus 1 over 2. Let's do that math. You can see it's not going to be an even number or a whole number. 47 divided by 2 is 23.5. It's in the 23.5 position, which makes no sense. So, find the average or mean of the 23rd and 24th positions. Okay. All right, we'll do that. Let's see, I'll go up here. So the 23rd position is, and the 24th position is. Okay, we'll figure that out. How do we figure it out? I came up with the method on my own, and then I was like, well, I better see what the book does, not, make it tricky for the students. And they do the same thing, and that method is basically just counting up. So, off camera, I'm using my fingers here. I'm going to count up to 23rd. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, we're getting close. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. All right, so that means that the 23rd and 24th positions occurred here. Oops. The 23rd position occurred in here, and the 24th position occurred in here. So I was on the 8, but the 8 is the frequency. So the number is 6, because that's the score that's in the 23rd position and the 24th position. Now, if you don't believe it, then let's back up real quick and just count this. We know this is correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So, the 23rd and 24th position are both 6, whether we use the table or count it up. Obviously, since that's the same number, the median is 6. But if you want to do the calculation, remember it's the average, so 6 plus 6 over 2, 12 over 2, well, it's just 6. Okay. If the number is the same, there's no need to do the calculation. All right, that's the worst one, I think. I think that's the one that's the trickiest. Let's move on to mode. We know the mode is the number that occurs the most. All we got to do is find the mode. To find the mode of the table, just find the score with the highest frequency. That's it. So who's got the highest frequency? We look down here. It's 9. 9 is the highest frequency. That's associated with the score of 7. The highest or largest frequency is 9. So the score of 7 is the mode. Okay. Again, if we look at this, there are 9 7s that occurs the most, so that would be the mode. And lastly is the mid-range. The mid-range is the average of the smallest number and the largest number. The smallest number is 1. The largest number is 10. It's not the frequencies, it's the scores. In this case, it's smallest to largest. So 1 plus 10. 1 plus 10 over 2. That's 11 over 2, which is 5.5. Again, if it wants you to round, it will tell you to round. Sometimes it will just say give the exact answer. If it says give the exact answer, you type in the entire decimal. Generally, that could go 3 or 4 decimal places.